I'd like to request a moment of silence for Dan Bliss, who was a senior at our high school, who was just a very fine young man and whose life was cut much too short. And he'll be very much missed.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move into the agenda. We will start with the clerk's report and approval of the minutes from our November 7th meeting.
I move we approve the minutes of November 7th.
Second.
Okay, Vicki and Sean. Are there any corrections, additions, or deletions?
I just had a couple of questions. Maybe I should have mentioned earlier on the administrative report on BAMS. I just thought we'd say when the leave started for Ingrid Kriska, which is today, I think, is when that started. And then in the central office, I didn't know if it was one or two people who were interested. Aha, there's one. Was interested in joining the board, but here's a new member, and there's because I think two is what it said on the.
There were two.
There were two. Oh, I thought there were, but anyway.
Well, interested initially, yes.
So we should probably introduce Lauren.
Okay, yeah, I will. We can probably, since we got a motion on the floor, though, we can probably vote on that, right? No.
Do you approve the minutes?
So that was correct as written.
Okay.
And the other point was regarding the dams leave.
Oh, just wondering if the start date should have been in there, but that's just.
All right.
Should that have been in there?
Not necessarily. I mean,
I think we can, yeah, probably accept them as such. Okay, that's, any other questions? And all in favor of accepting the minutes of the last meeting, November 7th? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Lori wasn't there and Scott wasn't there. Okay, well, I would like to introduce to everyone Lori Cartwright at the end of the table. Lori will be joining the board, has officially joined the board as a Brattleboro representative, and we welcome you. Want to tell us just a little bit about your background?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I apologize for being late. I'm Lori Cartwright, and I am really looking forward to serving on this board with all of you. And I recently come with experience being on a school board, having most recently been on the Brattleboro Town School Board. As some of you may know from the WSESU meetings, it's nice to see some familiar faces. And I was on that board with Russ Janis for a period of time, and when this opening became available, I thought that it was something that I would really very much like to do, and so thank you for allowing me the opportunity, and I look forward to working with you. And if there's anything else you want to know about me, just ask. I'll consider answering it.
Well, welcome. You've joined a fine group, and I'm sure you'll be a great contributor. We'll talk about some committee assignments soon.
I figured that was right around the corner.
There's plenty of work to be done, especially now in budget season.
Yes.
Okay. Communications. Does anybody have anything on the communications? I guess under this would just share briefly a letter that I just received this afternoon, along with a lot of other local education officials, apparently from Governor Shumlin. And it basically thanks us for our work in developing our budgets, and he understands that we're right in the middle of it now. There is concern about the statewide grand list declining this year, and he requests that we seriously work towards maintaining level spending as we develop our budgets, and he's sure that we're going to do a great job. So that's the quick sum and substance of it. Came around this afternoon, so the governor weighing in on education. Anything else for communications? No. Anything else for the clerk's report? Okay. Recognition of groups and individual visitors. We have a new addition to the student council group. I guess we'll just let you know that it's Louisa Strothman and Nicole Momini is here as well, and they will be giving us a report during their time for student council, during administrative reports. Welcome. Okay. Is there a motion to go into consent agenda?
I move we go into consent agenda.
Second?
Mary Ann, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Finance, building and transportation.
Finance Committee met on November 9th, and we approved warrants number 1064, 1075 through 1084, 1086, and 1086 through 1088, for a total of $607,798.10. And then we met again this evening, and the topic this evening's meeting was that Mr. Coughlin has asked for, and we voted to authorize him to look for a 3/4-ton 4-wheel drive crew cab truck as a replacement for a 93 Ford pickup, which it would cost more to repair it than it is currently worth. And he is looking to purchase a second-hand truck for less than $30,000, and will most likely be coming back to the Finance Committee and the board for approval to purchase such.
That will be probably at our December 5th meeting. Hopefully we will have found a suggested unit by then, and that will come to the full board for approval. There's some rearranging a little bit of how people and materials are moved around at the Career Center, and I think Dave has a good plan how to accomplish this, and when it comes to the vote we'll get a little more of an explanation, but we've authorized him to get started in the process. Anything else for finance?
I don't believe so. Our next meeting will be next Monday evening, November 30th.
Yes, we will have a brief finance meeting. It will be warned for next Monday in conjunction with the budget meeting. Planning and policy.
Has not met.
Okay. Teacher Curriculum Committee.
Has not met, giving finance time to do their work for the budget.
Dance Committee.
has not met, but we are the new business item for later in the agenda.
You are the new business item, okay.
There's a personnel matter identified in the executive session that will come from the Bay Committee.
Okay. WRCC committee. We haven't met since the last
Has-
I
one.
expect we'll meet in January.
January, okay. All right. Is there anything else for consent agenda?
I have a question. Was there a warrant number 1076, Ruth?
No.
Okay.
They skip around a little bit.
There probably will be one eventually.
Okay, is there a motion to approve consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
The only amendment is, I think you did say 175 through 184, so it's subtracting out the 1076. You're probably just trying to get out of reporting in the future, but you're just going to have to keep doing it again and again until you get it right.
It's one of the more exciting parts of the evening. I kind of miss that job.
I do have a live in it.
If you want it back, I imagine we can talk to Ruth.
Okay, all in favor of approving consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.
Would anyone be opposed if I didn't abstain?
If you did not
If I did
abstain? No, you were here to hear it. So.
It's new procedure for me because on the town school board, we did actually sign the warrants.
Yeah.
So I know from being on the WSESU board that there's a different procedure here, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that it was okay that I
Yeah.
approved it.
Yeah. Normally they are reviewed by finance and signed at our finance committee meetings.
Greenhorn.
What's that?
Greenhorn.
Okay, let's move on to administrative reports. And let's mix things up a little bit. We'll start with, well, actually, I think I started with BUHS last time, didn't I? But we'll do that again, so we won't mix things up.
So a few things to report. We have three of our seniors, Marguerite Dooley, Natasha Head, and Caroline Dino Calafali, have initiated a project called the Governor's Youth Advisory Committee. They began this last spring, and it's designed to help Vermont youth have more influence in state government. They've met with Governor Shumlin in Montpelier for an hour. He was very receptive to the idea. This year they're beginning structuring how a statewide committee composed of students would function, and then he's going to they will bring that back to the governor in the near future. So it's exciting to know that we're carrying our tradition of statewide activism. It's nice to see. Last Friday and Saturday we had our district band festival, and that was a great success due to the enthusiasm of all the participants. A special thank you to Steve Rice, Tom Nashaka, and Patty Meyer for their work they did organizing it here, and also for their grace under pressure when the power went out for 3 hours Friday in the middle of rehearsal. They did not like the joke that I said they should be acoustic. Last Wednesday, we hosted our first BUHS staff and students and family art show, last Wednesday and Thursday. It was a great success. We had demonstrations by various staff members and their families. We had student artwork. We had children of staff members' artwork. It was a wonderful celebration. There was a cupcake contest. And some people that you would not think of as artists really did some amazing work. It was really neat to see. And finally, starting next Monday, winter sports kick off. Tryouts begin Monday for all those frigid sports. And that's the BUHS report.
Thank you. The Governor's Advisory Council, that's envisioned as a statewide thing with representatives from various schools that would meet.
Go ahead.
I'm on the council, but what our idea is that we'd have one or two representatives from all of the high schools in Vermont on a committee and then have a smaller committee to actually meet with the governor and discuss the issues.
It's great that we're being initiated from here. Good stuff. Well, we might as well segue into student council. Is there anything else?
Yeah. We recently, this past Thursday or Friday, it was Thursday, had our annual Feed the Thousands kickoff. So that was a huge success. Something that student council stresses out over a couple of weeks about, but we put on our skit and it was pretty successful, and the whole school seems to be ramped up about it again. So I think it's going to be a successful season for collecting food and donations.
We have 4 boxes in the atrium for each class, and also a thermometer for how much food is brought in for each class.
So there's a competition that'll be visible to the whole student body, so hopefully that'll be an incentive for students to bring in more. We'll see what happens. And that's all.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, how about BAMS? Jerry?
Well, as was mentioned earlier in the minutes, Ingrid is on medical leave starting today, and she'll be returning after the new year. Bertie Sprague is filling in her position and helping me out in the office, so it's being very well cared for. We also today, we had our honors ice cream party. We had 113 7th and 8th grade students that made high honors or honor roll, and we reward them for doing a good job with ice cream sundaes after school. And then we also asked for donations from the community, and we received donations in the form of cash that we turn into gift cards or gift cards from, if I may, Browns and Roberts, Bass Shoes, Entergy, Burroughs Sports, Northeast Mountain Footwear, Sam's, Howard Printing, and our cafe services. So we, thank them because of their contributions, their donations. We're able to give extra rewards for kids doing, a really good job keeping up with their academics. Our music department, yes, many of our students were involved with the District Band Festival this past Friday. But we also, last Wednesday, they presented they had their first concert, and they also gave a school-wide assembly during the day. And at that school-wide assembly, we also presented our campaign for Project Feed the Thousands to a student body, which will start as soon as right after the Thanksgiving break. So those are a few things that are happening at BAMS.
Great. Thank you. Okay, Career Center.
Sure. Last week, Robert Kramsky, our acting instructor, brought his acting class down to New York City. They saw 3 plays. I think I need to join the acting class. They saw Bonnie and Clyde, Sunshine, and what's the third? Private Lives. They also visited the Circle in the Square Professional Acting School and had a chance to visit with former acting student Taylor Patno, who attends classes there. Okay, so that was kind of a reunion for a lot of people. You will shortly be able to see the pictures of that visit on the WRCC blog. I'll keep promoting that. Dennis Hamilton, our forestry instructor, brought a team of students from our agriculture classes to compete in the Vermont State Soils Contest. The not unusual thing is they won. I think they've won for 20 straight years in a row. It is a fairly competitive process, but he does a really good job of preparing his teams. This year, student Matt Clark got a near perfect score, which has never happened before. I think he was 2 points off the perfect score, so that's fairly good. Then my assistant director, Michael Burnett, has recently been invited to join the board of Habitat for Humanity, and that has resulted in some joint planning between our school and Habitat for Humanity, and we're already seeing some projects come out of that, and we hope that's going to be more of a long-term relationship.
Will we be sending someone to the national soils in Oklahoma?
This year, I don't think we're going to go to the national soils test this year. I think we're, as we've transitioned into the pathway model, it's going to be kind of an odd year where we don't have enough students to make it. So we will always be in the state contest, I can assure you. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, central office?
Yeah, I have 2 items. One is our annual public school choice for the high school. This is an agreement that was part of statute as a pilot project in 2002-03 school year, and then it was extended beyond that. It's a system where all of the high schools in the southeast region are part of this school choice agreement, which the situation is students can apply for membership at the high school. The tuition does not follow the student. So in BUHS's case, it has always limited the enrolling students to 4 freshmen coming in each year. We typically have about 20 to 25 applicants, which we go through a lottery to identify the 4 that would be enrolling. And so this is just a standard agreement that requires the board chair to sign off on it, and then we start the process of advertising and taking applications through February through April 1st.
Okay.
Well, may I just clarify that? The students in the southeastern region have the ability to apply to another high school in
Yes.
the southeastern region, and
Yep.
approximately 4 freshmen are accepted on a lottery basis in each school or in our school.
No, in our school, you know, we typically will get applications from Bellows Falls, Twin Valley, Leland and Gray. I don't believe we have had students that will go to those schools. They have the choice to, but that typically doesn't happen. We usually receive about 20 applicants to come to the school, and because the tuition doesn't follow the student, and that type of number would put an undue burden on the system without monetary payment. The board back in 2003 limited the enrollment to 4 incoming freshmen. So any given year we have 16 choice students. We also obviously have Career Center students that will come from those sending schools as well, including. So typically, you know, the region, this covers the whole southeast, which is from the north, Hartford School District, Rivendell, Rutland, Windsor, Springfield, and then all the way down to Wyndham Southeast, Southwest, and Central. And so typically you'll have students in a particular area, like the Springfield area. They will have their comings and goings in terms of tuition students or choice students. And again, with our area, we typically will have those surrounding high schools.
And do we have to provide transportation for those
No,
students?
transportation is paid for by the individual student. Any other questions on this? If anybody would like to see it, I can send it around. The other memorandum of understanding, this is a continuation of an agreement that we've had with the church across the way. Since the construction, we have had parking privileges to the church parking lot, and the agreement had been that as long as we maintain the lot, which really doesn't take too much maintenance other than a few lines painted occasionally and just making sure that as things are cleaned up for snow or emergencies and that sort of thing, we take care of that lot as well. So it's been a great arrangement with the church. It's provided needed parking space for faculty, and I think there's an arrangement on a given day where they have a lot of community members coming for dropping off donations and food and clothing, that the Career Center makes an accommodation for the
On Tuesdays, they have a very active food bank going on there with folks coming in from all over the community. So we let them kind of spill up into our area, and Stop by on any given Tuesday sometime around 10 to 1 or 2, and you'll find it very hard to get a parking spot down in this area of the world. So it's good to at least try to help out with that as much as we can.
So we would like to continue that arrangement. It's worked out really well for us.
So do you need a couple of motions? Or do we, or is that not?
We don't need the motions.
Okay.
We just need the approval of the board, unless there's any sort of concern about continuing. Then just the last item, we're starting teacher negotiations soon, and we do have a meeting scheduled for November 29th at 5:45 at the central office. And I believe for this board, Bob is representing BUHS, and I believe Scott, I haven't gotten confirmation, but I think in the past you've represented Putnam.
I'll be representing Putnam.
Yeah. So again, that's, I believe it's a Tuesday, the 29th, at 5:45 at the central office.
At the central office.
Okay, thank you. Board Chair, I have nothing myself, but I would ask Ian if he might just fill us in a little bit. He was attended the VSBA annual meeting recently, and just give us a little bit of an idea.
Sure. It was a very informative conference. There were a series of workshops and speakers and time to talk with other board members from across the state. I really took two things out of the focus for what a lot of people were talking about. One was use of technology. I think we do great with technology here, but that's something a lot of people are focused on, is technology and education. And also learning outside the classroom, which I think is great. I think there's a lot of opportunities for learning in the community as well as in school. And that's something that was a big focus that I took out of it.
Thank you for doing that. It's helpful. Okay, I think we've covered all the administrative reports. Unfinished business, budget update. Update as to, well, we've had a series of meetings. We've reviewed the Brattleboro area middle school budget, the Career Center, district-wide, and this evening we reviewed the senior high budget. At this point, they all have done a great job of putting together a very conscientious budget and basically level service, level funded. And we will continue on next Monday, the 28th, at 5 p.m. We'll be reviewing special ed revenue budget, which Jim will do his best to explain to us. And I don't know if we ever quite 100% understand it. It's pretty complicated, but we'll be looking at that and the challenges for change. On Monday, December 12th, which will be that's in between board meetings, isn't it? That's the odd Monday in between. Budget review session and adoption by the committee at 5 p.m. And then we will get that budget out to the rest of you during the course as soon as possible after that. And on the 19th of December will be our review of the proposed budget at 6:30 p.m. with a public information meeting. Always hope that there will be public attending, and once again we hope there will be public attending. Then it follows up on January 3rd with our adoption of the budget, again with a public information meeting, and then the 30th public forum, and the big day is Tuesday, February 14th, where we have our annual meeting at 7 p.m. So anybody else on the budget committee chime in, but my feeling is that there's another excellent job done by administrators to put together the budget, understanding the circumstances of our time, what we're dealing with, and looking out for the kids, and still being conscious of the fact that the taxpaying public has to bear this. So I've been very pleased. We've had mostly a few questions, not really a lot of challenges. They've been prepared very well to start with.
What was the last meeting? You said January 30th was a public forum.
Public forum, and February 14th. You have an extra copy of
Well, I
the
have a
schedule?
copy of it.
Okay.
You could return.
Yeah, that way you don't
Yeah.
have to.
Oh, great.
I went through it fairly quickly. I thank the members of the board and budget committee that have been here. I know for some of you this is the third meeting in 2 hours tonight, so we appreciate the extra effort that goes in this time of year.
One thing I can maybe add is one of the reasons why the budgets have been coming out so well is reaping the financial benefits from phased retirements and retirement incentives. And on the educational side, while we've lost some good people retiring, we've also added some good staff and some good innovative programs. Being on the teacher curriculum committee, we've seen some of the programs coming in with some of the new young pups with different views on technology and teaching and those sorts of things. So. And I meant that in the kindest of possible ways, by the way. So yeah, everything looks good.
Thank you. Anything else under unfinished business?
I have something. I'd like to bring up the Vernon buses once again. I'm the Vernon rep. The V2 bus is still being what I call late and what we call from our board late. With, if we look at the last 15 days, 8 days, she's getting there at 8:37 or after. And if you look at by the time the bus gets here and the kids have to get off, they hardly have any time to go get breakfast, go to their lockers, they're rushing to class. And the teachers are being really good about if they need to go get breakfast, sure, go ahead and get it. But then it's a disruption into teacher and classroom time. And I have been sending emails and not getting a response from first student. So that's very frustrating for us. We feel like we're being very overlooked in Vernon. In afternoon, the V1 bus is taking the V2 kids, driving into Vernon, going to Seventh-day Adventist Church, where they drop off the V2 kids to their bus, and then they go on, and that's because that bus can't get all the way back into Brattleboro in time. There were a number of days where the bus was so crowded with both of those groups on the bus, and you add duffel bags, sports equipment, backpacks, music equipment. The kids are frustrated, they're complaining, the bus drivers are getting frustrated, and I send emails out and I don't hear anything back about what we're going to do. I asked for number counts, I haven't heard number counts.
Mary Ann, I just sent you another call.
Well, you sent me, let me pull it out here. The V1 bus is, today's numbers below, 1117. V1 is 38 and V3 is 21. I don't have a number for V2, and that was one day.
Yeah, and I just saw your email today, and I've been out of the office, so I haven't had a chance to respond. The most recent is 30 and 31.
Okay,
And
but
what I
what we
understand
want to
is-
know is what's the maximum?
Well, the
if
bus
you
was
get-
47.
Okay, but if you get the whole amount, if everybody takes the bus who's supposed to take the bus from V1 and V2, what's that? All right, so you wrote V3, and that was really the V2 bus?
No.
No, V1 and V2 are combined. And whatever number, I think it was 31 most recent.
The bigger, yeah.
And the other bus is B3 with 30.
We only get 2 buses in the afternoon. We
Right.
get, from Vernon. That
Mhm.
V1, V2, maybe you were just explaining about how then they meet up with V2 or one of those buses
Right.
and drop kids off. So when we went on that particular V1, V2 bus, 3 afternoons, and we
3 afternoons we've done it.
took account, they were always even under 30, 31.
They were 30. I sent them last week. I thought one of them is about 20. V3 is about 20 all the time, and then V2 I think was 30.
I hit 38 then first.
38.
And 32, and then I don't know what it was today.
So the first day when you asked, that was the day that you had mentioned to me there were no sports or no beams activities.
Right, right.
So that's when the V1, which is the V1-2 combined, has gone up to 38. Typically, that bus has been around 30.
So that has with V2.
And it's got the capacity of 47,
Mm-hmm.
adult riders or, high school.
Right, and you guys just started counting last Wednesday, right? The number of kids, because there was one day where it was 43, and that's what the bus drivers had told me.
Yeah, we didn't.
And I don't know
it was
if that's a
problem until you
maximum.
said
I mean, you're counting who goes on the bus that day. Well, what about the kids that don't take the bus? We're looking for a worst-case situation. Do we have any idea? No.
What we'd have to do is we'd have to find. We could figure it out. We have to find out where those students from BAMS and BUHS. We have to get the Vernon addresses. We have to compare that to the updated routes, because the routes have changed since the beginning of the year. And we can do that. It'll take some time, but we can get that.
Okay, and First Student doesn't have that information already?
No, it's actually from the ridership here. It would be us that would have to get that. They wouldn't have the information that the
They don't have a
schools-
count of how many people are supposed to be on the bus?
Well, they know general, those numbers that we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about.
So what happened the day that the kids are on the bus and they're telling me that they're 2 and 3 in a seat? That's maxing out the bus. Because when it's high school, it's
But
only
again, if
supposed to be
it's
2 to a
47
seat.
If it holds 47,
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how 38 could max out the bus.
I don't know about that one day because no one counted that day. I just know what they're telling me. I know, you're going by your counts from then on.
Well,
I don't know.
We can talk about it. I can get you as much information as we can get you.
Well, you can get me information. Our worry is that it's just too crowded. It's just not really working well. So that's our frustration from Vernon and the lack of response. And thank you, Jerry, for getting me the report of the times. Appreciate that.
Anything else under unfinished business? New business? We have a request for executive session?
Yes.
Okay, I guess we should ask if there's any other new business first. If not, is there a motion to go into executive session
I move we go into executive session
for,
for a personnel matter.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Abstentions? We will go into executive session and... Okay, we are back in session. Is there a motion?
Yes, I'd like to move that we officially move Jerry Curry from interim assistant principal at Brattleboro Area Middle School to the permanent assistant principal at the Brattleboro Area Middle School.
Second.
Second, Mary Ann.
Any comments?
We had a discussion during executive session, which I know how should I put this? I can't say what we said in executive session. However, there was a general agreement of the board and a really good feeling that we've been able to have administrators come, people that have been associated with the district for some time who we all feel very good about. So that was the gist of it. So, thank you very much.
Okay. Any other comments? Otherwise, we're ready for a vote?
We also said lots of good things specifically about, I mean, you've done well and people have been incredibly supportive, and we all appreciate it.
Okay. We're ready to vote? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Permanent assistant principal. Opposed? Oh, I forgot to vote. I'm sorry. I vote for. Very good at making sure I always put my hand up until I got over in this chair. Getting pretty relaxed. Any abstentions? Not? It's unanimous. Congratulations. Part of the big three.
I have gained a little weight.
Okay.
It's the camera.
Would there be a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
You got experience with that? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. Thank you very much.